kind of control over this situation.
Sergio, stay with us here, and just can you again describe exactly what direction of 101 you're seeing? And let me also add to your coverage here, you might be hearing a lot of sirens because there is a brush fire just a couple of miles where you're from. So that might be fire engines and other first responders heading to a fire, a brush fire, just a couple of miles from where you're from. In fact, here it is. This is also in San Jose, so we have a lot of things happening here. If you're just now tuning in, expecting to see Ellen, we've been on with breaking news because 101 has been shut down southbound and is being diverted traffic northbound, 101 and Malamark Avenue. This, what you're looking at, is just a couple of miles away. Taylor and Heading. This is near 87 and Heading, I believe. I'm going to get a final check on exactly where this is, but this is a brush fire in San Jose. So a lot of things happening now, a lot of sirens you might be hearing in San Jose. Don't be too alarmed because part of it is for this brush fire and the other part of it is the shutdown of 101. Now, getting back to the shutdown of 101, so far it has been mostly peaceful, but there have been some cases that we've seen of some damage of the cars there. Now, if we can go back to Sergio Quintana there. Sergio, we're back to your camera shot here. Our NBC Bay Area Sky Ranger is overlooking this. This is 101. What are we seeing there from your camera? I believe that's your cell phone camera. What are we looking at? Which direction of 101?
Yep, this is my cell phone camera. This is a group of San Jose police officers that have just arrived on southbound 101. It does look like if they are getting ready to start clearing out the section where a lot of the demonstrators are. Those demonstrators, I'm going to pan very, very slowly. I have to pan very slowly with this, otherwise we'll lose some of the picture. You can see this is where a lot of the cars are kind of stuck in traffic, and then on down that direction is where the demonstrators are starting to move. It looks like they are heading across to northbound 101, and they're probably going to be going to the on-ramp here. They're in motion. That's because I think police officers are trying to clear the traffic that's been stopped up there on southbound 101. This is still a pretty large crowd that is here, but this is only part of the crowd. There's probably about 2/3 of the crowd that has moved off and is currently on surface streets in the area here. And there seems to be a whole lot more people that are arriving. You can see that these people here are walking in from parking in the neighborhood and are joining this demonstration. And they're starting to kind of move a little bit further onto surface streets now as well. There was a little bit of a pop a little bit earlier. I think it might be officers trying to clear that 101, southbound 101 section, but there's quite a bit of movement that's happening here at the moment.
Thank you for your updates there. Looks like those protesters are on the move. Again, this is 101 and Malamark right there in San Jose. With us now from the CHP is Alicia Moreno. Officer Moreno, thank you for your time. Can you just update us of what we're seeing right now from our NBC Bay Area Sky Ranger? We see the protesters blocking 101, and now they are on the move. What's your response to all this? What's the game plan here?
So as of now, we do have officers positioned in the most of our on-ramps and off-ramps and connectors approaching this area, starting from 880. So we have the connector on 880 to 101 southbound on both directions shut down. We do have hard closures. We do have the assistance of Caltrans. And every on-ramp that continues on the south all the way past Malamark, every on-ramp is shut down. Once again, we're trying our best to get all of these protesters off the freeways as soon as we can. But we do encourage protesters to remove themselves off the freeway, off to safe location, and to the motorists that are stranded to remain calm. We are working as fast as we can, but to make sure that they keep their windows and their doors locked. And if they feel in any way that they're in any kind of danger, to please call 911. We have officers nearby.
Alicia Moreno, officer from the CHP, we thank you for your time. Can you tell us, as far as you know right now, have there been any major injuries or any damage? We've seen some limited damage to a few cars from our Sky Ranger.
That's about right. That is the information that we have. Some vandalism, some damage to vehicles that are stationed, and then there was also a report of it looks like a medium-sized tractor trailer. We're not confirmed yet whether it was part of the manifest or if it was just some truck that got seized by some of the protesters.
Officer Moreno, what are your, for lack of a better term, what are your marching orders here? Is it just to let these protesters go through some de-escalation tactics, or at some point will you lay down a heavy hand and actually clear some areas?
No, we do have tactical formations. We definitely do have our management and our supervisors and lieutenants on scene, and we are following command. But once again, it's a safe protocol and procedure where we do it where it's safe for the protesters as well as for the officers. So we're not rushing into anything, but we do want to do it in an expedited way so that nobody gets hurt. Once again, we have motorists that are stranded that we're trying to get home. So that is our priority right now, our primary objective. We do have all of our uniformed officers on scene, and then we also have officers responding from our neighboring offices that are en route right now, as well as our allied agencies that are helping us with this. So we should be getting this under control hopefully here soon.
One last question for Officer Alicia Moreno here with the CHP. Any arrests, or is the plan not to arrest unless there's some serious violations here?
Right now, like I said, our primary focus is to make sure that these protesters are removed off the freeways safely. Once we get into more details, I honestly I'm not at the heart of the scene what's going on right now, but right now are just focusing on getting the protesters off the freeway.
Officer Moreno, thank you for your time. We will get back to you later on in this evening if we need to. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's bring in NBC Bay Area's Damian Trujillo, who now joins us from what I believe is kind of the heart of the matter here, 101 and East Santa Clara Street in San Jose, where these protesters are. Damian, can you hear me? If you can, tell us what you're seeing and exactly where you are.
Well, right now, Raj, we are on Santa Clara Street. This is actually on the on-ramp to southbound Highway 101. And to be honest with you, they seem to be just a bunch of teenagers who've taken over here. You can see the San Jose police here trying to do their best to make sure that everyone is safe. But they're turning it around here. They closed off this on-ramp, and they've been successful in closing off Santa Clara Street at this point. I mean, if you pan over here, you can see the patrol cars are blocked off of Santa Clara Street right now.
Damian, thank you. We're having a little trouble hearing you. I understand you probably have your mask on. You want to stay safe, and you're talking away from us. But I believe you said 101 and the overpass there is Santa Clara Street, which seems to be the heart of this protest. Again, these protesters started gathering in the 3 p.m. hour. They shut down at one point both directions of 101, and these are live pictures now going in and out of the protest. And you can see, for the most part, there are peaceful protesters here. It's a diverse group of age and ethnicity from what we're seeing from our cameras here, and Damian is down below. We'll get back to Damian in just a moment when he's in a little better spot in terms of where we can hear him better. But this is what we've been seeing now for the last hour. It is 4:20. The freeway has been shut down for nearly an hour in both directions. You're looking at live pictures now from our Sky Ranger. You see the line there of San Jose police officers, also in conjunction with the CHP. Their main goal, which is very clear, just to keep everyone safe here. There have been some limited cases of vandalism, but for the most part, it's a peaceful protest. The main goal for San Jose PD and the CHP, this is a joint force here, is to keep everyone safe. That includes the protesters, and that includes everyone on bicycles and cars and trucks. Let's bring in now NBC Bay Area's Jessica Aguirre. She's also with us in the newsroom with some new information. Jessica.
Are continuing to follow this. We want to turn things over to Sergio Quintana, who has been watching this. We heard from him just a few moments ago. Sergio has moved to an overpass near Santa Clara and 101, and he's got a vantage point to really see what's happening on the freeway right now. Sergio, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I want to show you. I'm going to kind of tilt a little bit and switch my camera. These are the police officers that are on the freeway right now. They are trying to clear it. You can see there's a pretty good line of them, and there's also a couple of tractor-trailer trucks that are there. They're trying to get 101 southbound clear for traffic, as was just mentioned a little while ago by the California Highway Patrol. A lot of the demonstrators, they have moved onto surface streets here on Santa Clara Street. I'm going to be walking along a little bit so that you can kind of see exactly how this is all kind of playing out. Right now, there is a pretty good crowd of demonstrators right at the off-ramp This is where they've kind of converged at the moment. There is a combination of vehicles, of demonstrators, there's police officers, there's lots of people here who are kind of just trying to get a vantage point and also trying to get home, trying to get out of the area. This is a group that was mobile for a little while. They did move off of the freeway, and then a group of them decided to come to this intersection that, as you can see, is pretty gummed up at the moment and looks like it's going to be like this for a while until the group decides to go ahead and move along. I can tell you, though, that there are quite a few people who are kind of joining in. They've seen what's been going on, and they've actually been bringing in their signs as well. So it does look like this is going to be continuing here for a little while. They are moving pretty quickly. They once they decide to move somewhere, they move, and it doesn't take them but just a few minutes to be able to get from one intersection to the next. You can see that police officers are trying to get a lot of this traffic cleared out of these intersections that are just all gummed up, but demonstrators are still here. They're still showing their displeasure with what has transpired over the last week.
Sergio, if I can get you to turn your vantage point again toward the police officers that you were looking at before, it looks like some traffic is moving behind you. Do you see any protesters left on the freeway, or is that starting to clear up and officers giving way for people to start moving? It looks like the cars behind you may be starting.
Yeah, so this is what you're talking about here. You can see that northbound 101 is starting to move along. The southbound direction is still kind of gummed up. I would have to sprint across the bridge here so I can check to see if there's anyone on the freeway the other way. But you can see that there's a combination of California Highway Patrol officers and San Jose police officers that are trying to now get traffic southbound. The semi trucks that we had seen just a little bit earlier, they look like they have moved along, but here's where a lot of that traffic is being diverted to. It's being diverted off the freeway, and it is being put right onto the surface streets here. So this is going to take a little while to clear out.
Sergio, in the area that you're looking at right now, that we have this vantage point looking at, how many people are there actually there as protesters, and how many are people that have just seen what's happening and have joined to kind of watched what's going on so that we can get a better vantage point?
Well, so let's. I'm going to try to zoom in a little for you here. That looks like a group of probably about 100 people, and then here there's quite a few people who are watching, and this kind of is the people watching here are kind of lined along the street for quite a while. There are several dozen of people who are watching. There are quite a few people who are in their cars. I've actually seen a few people jump out of their cars, and some people jumping out of their cars